also with the homie NBL, right? Oh, whenever NBL is on the beat, it's gonna be fire.
Yes, sir.
And you know, whenever it sounds very beachy, you know Aziz is gonna be on fire.
Yes, sir.
So we look forward to that. Nabil, drop that.
So, welcome, Mr. Nabil. Nice to meet
Thank you so much.
Can I have a
Honored to be
small
here.
introduction about yourself?
Of course. My name is Nabil. I'm a music producer. I'm 20 years old. I do a little bit of creative direction. I do lots of music production. I've been producing for around 7-8 years now. I've worked with a bunch of people all over the Middle East, all the way to the US, to Africa, to Europe, and honored to be here.
The honor is ours. A small fair question is, what are you currently doing in your life, or what is your lifestyle?
Lots of work, a lot of work. Currently, at the moment, I'm focusing more on commercial music. So I'm working with Amazon, I'm working with Middle Beast, I'm working with Amar, Ministry of Culture of Saudi, kind of to specify more into commercial music and trying to kind of educate myself on a more cultural sound and a cultural audience to be able to integrate it into my music personally.
Interesting, that's nice. Why music?
That's a good question. I've been asked that so many times, and to be completely honest, I don't have the answer. Music is, I've always loved music. You know, I grew up on it. I had a lot of hip-hop influence all the way back from Blueprint with Jay-Z, to Born Sinner from J. Cole, to Kanye's come up. I've always loved music. I've always loved it. I taught myself the piano at around 9-10 years old, and I was always composed since then. You know, I don't know how to read notes, I don't know music theory, I don't know any of that. I kind of like sitting in front of a piano and just pressing buttons till something works. You know, like that's the kind of approach that I like to take. I'm not big on, you know, you gotta learn this song, you gotta perfect this song to be able to say that you play the piano, but no, create something out of nothing. You know, that's what I love about music. There's so many areas, there's so much that you can do that's still untapped, even with everything that's been going on, everything that's been, like, funny story is, when I watched the Kanye documentary on Netflix, you know, I remember watching it, and so many people felt so motivated and so like, come on, let's get the hustle, you know, let's do it. I felt like he's already done everything, you know, like, it's hard to compete with that. But still, there's so much to do, you know, and especially in the region, there's so much beautiful talent in the region. There's so much, and finally, we're starting to build an environment. You know, an environment where I can compete with Entitled, or I can compete with Saud for best producer, you know, best rapper, best all of that, and it's such a tough competition, but it's healthy competition. That's what I love about music. There's so many areas to it that even after everything that I've done, I still have unlocked 10% of it, you know?
Sure.
So yeah, rambling a little bit.
I look at you as an inspiration and a motivational speaker and a role model.
Thank you.
A nice message towards our future students.
Don't call me an inspiration, don't call me motivation, don't call me any of that. It's too much pressure, too much responsibility. No, not at all. Just do it. Whatever it is. Whatever, like when I meet people, I love asking them, so what is it that you like? You know, even if you have no experience at it whatsoever, you don't know anything about it, you just like it. You know, if it's fashion, if it's art, if it's movies, if it's writing, if it's any of that, do it. Do it. There's no loss in it, you know, and in our culture, there's this mentality that, one, the arts don't pay your bills. You know, that was global, but now is even bigger here because of this new opening. Do it. If it pays your bills, if it doesn't, like, I spent 8 years sharing my music with my friends, you know, it was with, like, my audience was 10 people. Genuinely, it was 10 people, you know, and I loved that. I was doing something that I like. And genuinely, out of nowhere, it was so unexpected, I started meeting people. I started meeting industry legends, you know, and they were teaching me things and telling me, and now I've almost, I've grown my audience exponentially, you know, and I'm thankful for that. But it's just because I did it. You know, I did it. I started somewhere. I started learning. And if you listen to my work 6, 7 years ago, oh my, yani, I've made sure to delete all of that off the face of the earth. But there's growth. There's always growth. I still have growth. Everyone still has growth. You know, so do it. Do it. Why not? Jump into it. And you might not know where it leads. So yeah, definitely.
A great thing you said is in today's time we're growing and the public or the general society is understanding.
Definitely. We're growing so much, but also, so one big struggle. So, music, for example, being talented is only 50% of it. Talent is 50% of being a successful producer, singer, rapper, anything. The other 50% is learning the business behind it. You know, there is so much business behind it, and the key thing that you need to learn is to find out how money moves in this industry. And I'm telling you, this is the most difficult industry to have see money moving. You know, most people are taking the approach, the social media approach. You know, I gotta become a TikTok influencer, I gotta become an Instagram influencer, and that's how I can see money coming towards my music. And they turn themselves into a brand. I'm not saying that's wrong. It is right, and it is the path that, to be honest, I should be taking. But the traditional route still works. You know, learn the business. There's so much money moving in music currently, especially in countries like Saudi. The UAE have been dominating that for the past 10 years, but Saudi's coming up now. You know, and there's so much money moving.
Mr. Nabil, if you had the opportunity to get someone featured with you, who would it be and why?
That's a question. There's a couple. I can't say just one.
Go for it.
Weirdly, I really want to work with Amr Diab. No, Amr Diab, if you think about it, in one way or another, he's the Michael Jackson of the Middle East. You know, Amr Diab has been around, and he's made classics. You know, he's a crazy person that I want to work with. Obviously, there's Hove, you know, Jay-Z, Belly, all these guys, you know, but Amr Diab is one of a kind, you know, like, I'm also Fairuz looks crazy, you know, I'm sitting here sampling her, I want, like, some original stuff, but yeah, definitely, Amr Diab is magnificent.
So, you might have heard this name before, Khalifa Santa.
That's my brother. Khalifa's my brother. Are you gonna bring him out? Is he gonna come out right now? Khalifa Santo he's a mystery. You know, like I sit with him and see what you hear from Khalifa is his commercial stuff. You hear from Khalifa is his scraps, and they're amazing. When you hear what he has locked up in the archive, what he has locked up, he is gonna blow us out of the water. You know, Khalifa Santo, I even had a conversation with Swizz about Khalifa Santo. And he was just showing me his Instagram. He was like, yo, I'm in every comment, I'm in every like this is my guy. Khalifa is different. You know, he's wow. And he's brought a new thing to the game, you know, from putting Arabic to English in such a beautiful way. He's different. I can confidently say I'm scared of Khalifa. I'm terrified of Khalifa, you know, like, this is a guy, I'm going to Dubai as well soon, I'm going to see him, I'm going to try to burn his hard drives, you know, like, leave a chance a little bit. I've been trying to get him on my album, and he's been like, inshallah. We'll see, and Dubai is coming soon.
That's great.
Yeah.
Knowing all producers, and towards future producers, filmmakers, and other people, what is a one word that you would say
About
that
them?
defines you guys in one word?
That's a good question. I mean, the producers that I like, the producers that I believe in, the producers that I'm scared of, hungry. They always want to work. They're the guys that call me at 6 a.m. and wake me up. It's like, yo, I have a beat. You know, I have a beat. Listen. Hungry is the most important thing that you have. The will to want to always work, always make new things, always try new things, always trying to learn, you know? producers that just have a certain style. They sit, they stop. No, you know, you've gotten your success, you've gotten, but what's next? That's not cool, and that can be applied to so many of the biggest artists in the industry right now. Like, for example, Hungry, The Weeknd. The Weeknd, his past few albums, completely different. People are hating on them, but they don't seem to realize that he just doesn't want to stop and do one single style, one single sound and go with it, even though that's what his audience like. He's jumping into 80s pop, to R&B, into so many different things, you know, and that's Hungry. And they don't realize that, okay, at this point in time, it's not great, but wait until it becomes a timeless record. Because if you're able to create a timeless record, that's it. You've got the music industry by the hands. I said hands, you know, to be a bit PG.
So, you know, two other producers in Bahrain, other than you, that I know of, which is Sara Nabil and what's his good name?
DJ Outlaw?
DJ Outlaw, yeah. So, what is something that's different between you guys?
Great people, amazing producers. They're very talented. I think they're more into commercial. They've kind of taken the stereotypical Arabic Khaliji sound, you know, and made it hip hop, which is great. It's working for them. But the question that we need to ask ourselves is this what we want to take to the outside? You know, is this what you want to show, like I said, the white kid in Washington? You know, is this what you want to show him? You want to show him that this is our sound? Or is there more depth to it? Is there more skill to it? Is there more of that? But they're extremely talented individuals. Extremely talented individuals. The whole team at Outlaw Productions, from Hassan, Fliparachi, Outlaw, Sara Nabil. I've worked with Lil Easy before as well from Saudi. He's Lil Easy's I love that guy. Yeah, they're very talented people.
What about Abdullah Conflict?
Abdullah Confit. I've actually met Abdullah Confit only once. Spoke to them on the phone a couple of times. It's weird that I only met him once. He's great. Abdullah has so much potential. You know, like I listen to his stuff and I feel like there's so much more that can come out. You know, I generally have a lot of belief in Confit. A lot. And I feel like if you get him to do what he really wants to do, it's gonna go crazy. You know, I love him. He's insanely talented individual.
So towards people, when people hear hip hop music, they go towards producers and musicians, etc. And a lot of Arabs over here in the Middle East come and say, these guys, they're just doing it for women, drugs, one night stands, everything else, etc. And there were a few. But do you think that this is the path of hip hop in both Canada, the US, or if it starts growing in the Middle East?
That's a really tough question. You really came in with a question right there. See, that's the thing. Like I said before, what we're working on currently, especially with all the amazing guys that I'm working with at Riyadh, is we don't want to stay local. We want to go international. We want to go international as a unit, you know, and we're not willing. So part of the major reason that it's taken so long for us to make it over there is that we're not willing to throw away our cultural standards. You know, and we go to these events and we meet all these people in the US and in Canada and in Western countries, and we still believe, we stay in our culture. You know, we stay in the belief that we shouldn't have to do drugs or drink alcohol or engage in such activities. You know, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to be like, no, we can be elegant. We can be good representatives. You know. And yeah, because that's our culture. Our culture is built on Islamic morals, Islamic beliefs, and you can be the greatest producer in the world and still believe in that. You know, like, and for example, even my songs, they have some notions to like drugs or whatever, but that's it. You know, it's craft, it's art. Still though, you know, we try to maintain this culture. And when I was in LA, we were in parties with some of the biggest names in the industry, and they were all drinking and they were all what. And us, the Saudis, we sat in a corner and we kind of chilled. You know, like we tried our best to sit there and enjoy the party while representing our people, representing our country, our government, and everything that we believe in.
Interesting. It's actually nice.
Are you looking for lyrics right now? Yeah, he's looking for lyrics. I'm getting cancelled, Yani, tomorrow, I think. You'll be trending on Twitter. Let me want my mom quickly.
So
I just remember what it was.
it was on FU on the side.
Yeah. That's not Aziz.
Oh.
That's not Aziz. That's Turk. That's actually a really funny story. The podcast has the Kebsa.
Yeah.
The guy in the back, Turks. Turks is my mortal nemesis, you know, like we hate each other. Like I'm just waiting to see him in public so we can like throw down, you know. Turks is an amazing guy. Turks is one of the funniest people I've ever met. When we first met past the Kebsa, it was when I dropped Late Nights and Streetlights, the EP. And it was it was actually the first time they critiqued any of my music. And they all loved it, they loved everything. And then Turks had this one comment. He said that this song, just towards the end, it needs a little bit of echo, you know? I was like, okay, you want echo? We'll give you echo. Few songs after that, I dropped a song. And the whole song, all the vocals, they were with Mercy. They were all just echo and reverb, echo and reverb, echo and reverb. And towards the end, I put that little line that he said. And I put some echo on that. So since then, we've been having a feud on the podcast. You know, every time he tries to rile me up, but I've been able to sample everything he said about me. I have a library at home, just Turk's words, you know? He's playing checkers, I'm playing chess, you know? Like, we're not messing around here. During, even when I dropped The Youngin', I sent them a letter, you know? It was a fancy letter, everything like that. And at the top of the letter, it said, I need Turks to read this, you know? I know it was just that. We have a feud, so on this song, it was actually when I dropped that song with his echo, and his comment was, you know, can you bleep what I'm about to say? F*** you on the side, you know? And it was that little quote that I put in there. That, by the way, that ruins my streams in parties and DJs. They hate that I add these. But it's Turks, you know, we gotta retaliate. I'm not gonna sit down, I'm not gonna be quiet.
That's actually nice.
I actually have a picture of him. We were at an event once, and he was wearing my the Youngin merch. And I took a picture of him. I was like, yeah. So we're doing right.
Throughout your experiences in both Bahrain and Toronto, what was the hardest thing you've seen?
Music-wise?
Everything, life-wise, music-wise. What made you shift from an idea of computer science student towards music?
Computer science ain't for me. It's a difficult subject. No. I'm gonna redirect this question. I have a story to tell. So here, for example, as a musician, let's say in the Middle East, you're competing with, let's say, as a producer, you're competing with around 1,000 producers, you know, and most of the people here are doing it as a hobby. Going to Toronto and getting into the music scene, and there are two sides of this industry. There is a side where there are these musicians that are highly talented, that are competing with millions of musicians, and they need to choose every week whether to starve themselves, genuinely buy groceries and food, or book a studio session. And they can't make it without booking the studio session. It is their main source of income, and they're working 2 jobs, staying up till sleep, getting 2 hours of sleep every day just to be able to work on some music, but provide for themselves. Some of them even have families, some of them even have kids, you know. this is one side of the music scene, but then there's the other side. I was blessed and privileged to meet up with Majid al-Masqati
Yes.
in Toronto, and he just showed me another side where it's this circle. You know, it's this circle that is so difficult to get into unless you have the cosign. You know, but I guess that's just how the industry is. You know, even when I was in LA, you go to these events, you go to these things where you're genuinely privileged to be there when you know that there is a producer sitting outside trying to get in that's 20 times better than you. And I'm telling you, I've met some people that are 1,000 times better than me. They are amazing, you know. And some of them don't even know it yet. Some of them have this potential. Some of them have this drive, this hunger. They don't know it yet, you know. So it's difficult to see things like that. But then it's kind of your job, you know. It's kind of your job, your duty to try and bring in everyone that you see. If you spot talent, if you see someone, invest in them. You know, invest in people. Don't invest in something that gets you back money. Invest in people because that's the biggest investment. Example of that would be how Swiss Beats invested in Music Man Tai. Music Man Tai was his driver. Imagine, and he'd get in the car and just tell him, play me some beats. You know, and Swiss would invest in him, tell him, no, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. Ah, you got one there. And now look at him. He's an Emmy winning producer. He's doing crazy things. Invest in people. You know, yes, money's important. Get your money, provide for yourself, buy a Lambo, do whatever you want, but invest in people. Invest in people because you don't know how far it takes them. You know, I've met so many amazing artists here in the region. I feel like I should constantly tell them, keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. You'll get your break. You'll get your chance. You'll get all of that because it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. But yeah.
That's hard. That is really hard. What is a major or like a role key that's made you who you are today?
I think generally just love for music. You know, love for music, and to be honest, I don't know. So in the next 10 years, will I still be in music? Will I be a software engineer? Will I be a dancer? I don't know what I'm gonna be doing, you know, like anything is possible. But I think one thing that I genuinely every day thank for and feel indebted to for bringing me where I am today is the people that I have around me. You know, there are genuinely some people that I wouldn't be here without. From Saudi Turkey, you know, legend, industry legend, with a discography that trumps anyone else in the Middle East. You know, you have Swizz took me under his wing and taught me things that I would have never learned. More business than music as well. You know, he taught me how to, you want to go approach Universal, you can't just approach them with an album and tell them, yo, sell it for me. No, you got to show them what's the value. You got to own your masters. You got to do something that benefits you, keeps your brand on keep. Adil, I'm not going to say his last name because if I do, he's going to kill me, but Adil, Adil is I don't breathe without asking Adil. You know, genuinely, like, any move I want to make, if I want to go get a sandwich in the morning, I got to ask Adil first because he's always 6 steps ahead of everything. He is a genius beyond genius beyond genius. And I just, sometimes, you know, my dad gives me advice and I still ask Adil. I was like, yo, my dad said this. Sure, no, what? Noor Tahir, she is an amazing woman. She's an inspiration to every Arab woman across the world, you know, from living in the States and kind of representing Saudi, representing the Middle East in such an elegant and amazing way. The people around me, that's who I'm indebted to, and I'll forever be indebted to for everything that I have today. Alhamdulillah.
With everything going on, what's your next step?
So that's a good question. Currently I'm working, like I said, on commercial music. I'm trying to learn as much as I can about how to convey Saudi culture or Middle Eastern culture to a foreign audience, you know. And again, I want to put that into my music because it's time that we created an Arab sound. You know, the same way UK created UK drill or UK garage, and now all these white kids in Chicago are listening to UK drill and they're feeling UK. We want to create that. We want to create a Saudi sound, you know. We want that little white kid sitting in Washington or wherever to be listening to Entitled or Jeed or Aziz and be like, yo, I want to be like these Saudi Arabian guys, you know, like that's what we want to do. So many of us are just trying to copy what they have over in the States, you know, which is cool. Yeah, that's the music that we like. But it's time for us. We have the resources, we have the people, we have all of that, you know. It's time for us to create our sound. Next steps, I think, this is, you know, hasn't been announced yet, and I'm saying it like I'm Drake, but you know. I'm working on my album, inshallah, the next one. That's going to be a big project. Going to have a lot of people, a lot of different companies, a lot of different hands playing in this one. Bigger is better, always. Next step is always bigger.
The normal aspect in pursuing your dreams and your career is something important towards us. Last question: has anyone been against you? Family, things.
Trying to get me in trouble. Trying to get me in trouble. Cease and desist. There's always going to be retaliation, you know, for everyone. And this is going to seem really like, I don't want to say egotistical or arrogant. People will always fear you, you know. They will always fear you, and no one really is born with talent, you know. Yes, you might have the ear, you might have the eye, you might have all of that, but genuinely practice makes perfect. As soon as you start to hone your craft and become better, which is something that you always need to be doing, always need to be learning, always need to be watching, always to be checking what your competition's doing, you're going to start to raise some flags, you know. And there are some people that I personally work with and that I love. I'm a fan, you know, I've been a fan for years. As soon as some things start to come up, then you have this kind of retaliation, you know, you have this kind of backfire where it's like, okay, we need to keep an eye. You know, still though, the best approach for that is keep your respect. Stay a fan. You know, there's this rapper that I am big fan of. I've been listening to him ever since 2013. You know, when his stuff was on SoundCloud. Like, I'm a die-hard fan. Still a fan. No matter what happens, always a fan. Always respect. I respect his talent, his craft, everything that he does. And I'll always be a fan. No matter what differences, no matter what disagreements, always a fan. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nabil, for this
so much, man.
nice interview. It's very motivational again. I know you don't say you're motivational.
That's motivational.
You are.
Thank you, man.
It's a blessing to have you. And
Honored, always.
inshallah next time for something interesting and insane.
So,